Oh, how good and pleasant it is for brothers and sisters to dwell together in the spirit of unity. Where there is unity, there is peace. I've told you before that when I first found unity back in the 70s, the early 70s, I assumed that all unity churches were peopled by individuals who lived in the state of mind and heart of unity. It's like, oh my God, I found a spiritual path called unity. In the other churches that I've been, there was a lot of division. People couldn't see themselves in other people. There was a lot of distrust. There was a lot of not seeing in others Christ. And now I found unity. My mama gave me a book by Eric Butterworth called Discover the Power Within You when I was 17 and a half. And I found out that he had a church called Unity in New York, in Manhattan. And I said, I'm going to move to New York under the disguise of doing some acting and some singing and some dancing. But my principal motivation is this guy who wrote this book has a church called Unity. I'm going to move to New York and finally be in a church where everybody in that church is a living embodiment of the expression of unity. Because those were two of my favorite scriptures all growing up. Where there's unity, there is peace. Oh, how good and pleasant it is for brothers and sisters to dwell in the space, the mind and heart space of unity, of oneness, because she gave me another book by Eric Butterworth, The Unity of All of Us, the unity of all of life. I cannot wait to get to this church and be a part of this movement. Oh my God, I'm sitting on the edge of my seat with bated breath, waiting to get into a church where everybody is carrying the spirit of unity. Yay, God. No more spiritual groups where there's division or backbiting, or one judging another, one not liking another, one thinking another is doing it the wrong way, like all the other spiritual arenas I've been in. I cannot wait to get out of this and into that. So I moved to New York. It was my 21st birthday gift to myself. I told everybody I was going there to carry on being an actor and a singer and a dancer. That was my front. My heart's mission was to be in a field where every individual in that field was dedicated to being a flesh and blood example of a heart of unity. And I got there. And for the first several months, I just went for the sermon and the service. And then I went through the shop where they sold books and tapes and other spiritual material. And I left. And I felt like I've been in the field that I dreamed of. And then after a few months, I decided that it was time for me to get more involved, to draw closer and not just go for the service and leave. I wanted to get involved in some of the classes and some of the activities. I went backstage. You know, any show can be put on the front of the stage. We can give any performance that we desire on stage. We can play parts that are not who we really are. And that's what theater is. We take on a role. And after months of watching everyone in their role, I went backstage. Backstage, after the curtain is closed and everyone has applauded and shouted, "Yay, God." And my heart got broken because I discovered this is just another place like any other place, filled with a variety of individuals in various states of unfolding consciousness. Some of the people truly were who they were on stage. Others were not. I witnessed whispers of one little group at odds with another in the church. I witnessed members on the same board of directors and advisors at odds with one another, just like in any other place. I witnessed individuals who appeared to be addicted to noticing the darkness in the world, to be fixated on it, the news, the events, the shadows. And while speaking affirmations on the stage, that there is only one presence and one power, and it is God and it is good, I was puzzled by the fact that some were not the living proof of that being a truth principle. I saw human beings being human. My heart was broken for a good while. And then one day I read in the Course in Miracles, the choice for love brings up everything unlike itself. The choice for love brings up everything unlike itself. All the groups that I had been involved in, all of the spiritual arenas, all of the churches were given a new meaning for me after reading that and resonating with it. These are God's kids. They're doing their best to live out 5 principles that require you giving your all and all and all and all to them. 5 principles that we must live out with all of our heart, all of our soul, all of our mind, and all of our strength. And we must be kind to one another and courteous. We must be forgiving. We must be compassionate, kind, caring, forgiving, and compassionate with those in our field and with ourselves. Because we have made a choice that is a powerful choice. It is a God-given assignment. It is to be love and to choose love always, in all ways. And we should not be surprised that there will be hiccups, potholes, rumble bumps, flare-ups, detours, trials, tests, because the choice for love brings up these things to be cleared, to be released, to be let go of. I realize that nothing's going wrong. Everything's going right. Because we're choosing love. Oh yes, each and every one of us falls short of demonstrating that choice at times. Each and every one of us falls short of manifesting personally as oneself this choice. But we keep on making the choice. Again, nothing is going wrong. Everything's going right. We are shedding the skin. We are evolving. We are developing into all that God would have us to be. We are in process. And there is no limit. Learn to forgive yourself for doing your best and sometimes falling short. It's the way it is. Learn to forgive your fellows for doing their best and sometimes seemingly falling short. It's the way of God's plan. Keep putting one foot in front of another foot, in front of another foot. As you trek sometimes through the valley of the shadow, keep your eye on the light. Where there is unity, there is peace. Oh, how good and pleasant it is for brothers and sisters to live together in the spirit of unity. Our brother in the scriptures, Paul, has said, all of us have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. And that is nothing to be ashamed of. I'm learning that some of the states of mind I've been in that have not acknowledged the wholeness and the holiness of those in my surround, some of those moments have made me feel so icky inside, so disconnected from my good inside, that I vowed I will never do it again. And then I never did it again. That thing I did, that thing I said, that state of mind I was in, that consciousness of division and separation that I was in, that was no mistake. It was a wake-up call. My very peace depends upon by continuous growth from grace to grace, to grace to grace, to grace to grace. God is in charge of the universe. God is in charge of this church. God is in charge of your life. I hope that we one day are very clear about the fact that there are no mistakes. There are no wrongs. There are only opportunities for me to be the personification of the scriptures I love so much. Where there is unity, there is peace. And oh, how good. And oh, how pleasant it is when I am in a consciousness of unity. My field of authority is my life, my mind, my heart, my choices. Where I have authority, let me exercise it. Our first unity principle is so a freeing thing, such a joyous thing to know. It is a principle that if I believe in it, I will seek to see, and therefore I will see. I will seek to find, and therefore I will find evidence in the world that the principle number one is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. That God is good and is everywhere present. It puzzles me sometimes that it appears sometime that we search for evidence, find it, report it, and pass it on. Evidence that appears to prove without a shadow of a doubt that principle number one is not the truth. Clearly not the truth. We look for evidence that all is not good, all is not well. The original way of saying that first principle is God is absolute good. No, this is ours. God is absolute good, everywhere present. How often are we looking to see that that's true? Are we looking for the good? Are we looking for the presence of God everywhere? Or are we fixated on proof that that truth is not true? Are we looking at the news, finding more and more and more and more proof that God is not everywhere present, not good? What you look for, you'll find. Look for the good. Be the good. You please join with me in being the living, breathing proof that God is absolute good. Present wherever you are present. You, the channel for the inflow and outpour of the proof, the love of God. This is the deal about church communities. We've come to practice what we preach in a relatively small circle of individuals who have come together for that same reason. This is actually where it's pretty easy to be the living truth. If we can't be the living truth among one another, we cannot be the living proof in the world at large. This is our workspace. And this is where we're working on ourselves. Can I see God in everyone in this church? Can I notice when I'm judging and drop the rock? Can I notice where I'm making subtle accusations about how someone is, who someone is, asking the question, why are they as they are? Entertaining notions of, he just doesn't work for me. Something about her is irritating, as though it's her or him who are irritating and don't work. It's not them. It's my thought about them. I cannot be irritated by you. I can be irritated by my thoughts about you, and then I can invoice you for having disturbed my peace of mind. Gotta love the fifth principle. Knowing and understanding the laws of life, also called truth, is just the beginning. I must also live the truth I know. I've had moments in my life where I was pretending that another was irritating to me. The voice inside me lets me get by with no thing. I'm immediately informed. You are making the disturbance you're feeling. It's never about them. It's your thoughts and judgments about them. The voice doesn't speak to shame me or blame me, just to awaken me. And if I don't wake up with a whisper, the universe will speak out loud. And if I do not awaken when the universe speaks out loud, it will shout. And if I refuse to awaken when the universe shouts and screams, it will grab me by my shoulders and shake me till I rattle awake. I would like to learn and am learning to respond to the gentle whisper. Carlos, buddy, return to oneness. Return to unity. Return to whole beingness, which is holiness. Return to God. It's all how you want to look at things. I told my church in Amherst recently during Holy Week, The thing I am most proud of in all of the 20 years I was the pastor of Hope Church, we had a choir of 40 people. And that choir was amazing. We were sought after by everybody to sing in all of their churches and all of their special functions. We are a large choir, noticed for its precision. I was the pastor and the director of the choir, and my sister was the pianist, Rhonda, and she was one of the leaders of the choir along with me. One day, a little guy, a young man, came into the church. He loved the church, he loved the love he felt there, and boy, oh boy, did he love the choir. And after service, he approached me and Rhonda by the piano and shared his lifelong desire to be a part of a choir. His name was Jack. And Jack was born with Down syndrome. He did not speak smoothly. He would not be singing smoothly. He begged. He began begging. He began telling us how he's wanted to be in a choir all of his life, but of course, he said, I can't be, and I understand, but I really wish I could. It's just a dream I have. As soon as he paused, me and Rhonda grabbed Jack up in a three-way hug and said, choir rehearsal. It's Thursday. From 7 to 9. Will you be needing a ride? He said, no, I can get here. So Jack became a part of the Hope Church Choir. And me and Rhonda and a few others were witnessing heaven on earth when Jack was singing. We were also witnessing that when the choir conductor cut off the choir, everybody cut off with precision. But Jack trailed on for another 4 to 5 seconds before he realized he was supposed to stop. When the conductor brought us from building up very loud to dropping to a whisper at some point in the song, such dramatic effect, the whole choir would drop to a whisper, but Jack's voice would still be at full blast and a bit off key and wavering. Me and Rhonda had never seen or heard anything more beautiful. We thanked God for sending Jack to us. And soon after, we began to be made aware of how Jack being in the choir was not really working for everybody in the church. And at some point, 4 of the men in the choir, the 4 men, by the way, with the quote unquote best voices in the choir, asked for a meeting with me and Rhonda to tell us in no uncertain terms that their experience of being in a choir with Jack was painful. It was so disturbing. And it was something that they didn't think they were going to be able to stay signed up for. He said, don't you see how he can't follow the directions? Sure, we can see. Can't you hear that he is off key? Sure, we can hear. And we were smiling. We see everything you see. We hear everything you hear, but we see it through different eyes and we hear it through a different pair of ears. We see angels singing. Wow, that's too bad, they said. We came to say, if Jack stays in the choir, we are leaving. And without skipping a beat, my sister Rhonda said, well, it's been nice. Take good care. And I said, kiss, kiss. Bye-bye. They were in shock. We're the best singers in this choir. What's it gonna sound like when we're gone? We're about to find out, my brothers. As long as Jack's there, as long as Jack stays in the choir, that's all I care about. I wish you love. That moment signified the most powerful moment in all of my 20 years of being the pastor of that church. Me and Rhonda talked about it often as the moment we were most proud of ourselves for being who God chose us to be. All four of them left. Very soon, two of them came back saying, I think I threw the baby out with the bath water. I miss singing. Some of the people in the church left. Some kept rolling their eyes when Jack did not get quiet or did not cut off. But all I saw, all I saw was the Son of God, after a lifetime of desiring to throw back his head and sing with brothers and sisters, had his prayer come true. Harmony is not about everybody being on note. Precision is not about everyone cutting off just right, swelling altogether, diminishing the sound just perfectly. Harmony is a matter of the heart. It's what you get when you look for it. I would say that the very next time any of us would find ourselves having a moment's irritation, a feeling that who someone is in our community or what someone does in our community rubs us the wrong way, it is out of harmony with the song we are singing, I would suggest you stop. Take a deep breath and realize that it is your own mind that is not in harmony. I would suggest that we not use such moments to shame or blame ourselves, but as an opportunity to receive a wake-up call. And I would suggest that we behold one another with the eyes of Rhonda Jean and Carlos Wayne beholding Jack. Jack was with us until the day he died. A constant reminder that whatever the question, love is the answer. Whatever the problem or the challenge, love is the solution. There is only one presence. The daily word Brother Bob read for us reminded us that we are mirror reflections. It reminded us of how sweet it is to gather together in the spirit of unity to the best of our ability. What is creative thinking? I'll get deep into it another time. I'll say just this about it right now. Creative thinking, C-R-E-A-T-I-V-E, uses the same letters to compose the word as its opposite. Only the C is moved from the middle. C is moved from the front of creative to the middle of those letters and becomes reactive. Creative thinking is the opposite of reactive thinking. You're being creative or you're being reactive. Wow. Talk about a key to the kingdom. That's one, if you ask me. But I'll get to that another time. What I want to leave with you is this. God is in heaven. Heaven is in you. Holy is your name. God wants you to know you have nothing to fear and that there's nothing and no one to blame. You've been informed. Your captivity is over. You've been informed. In truth, you're free. So it is. I'm going to give you a tiny little encore. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. It's the best day ever, and I will not change my mind. How about you?